Hey everyone, welcome back. So I have a couple of bits of great news this week. First of all, we're moving full steam ahead with our first client. I hope I'll have a really cool startup raising funding via NFTs in a totally novel way that I can mention to you at some point soon. I can't give any details yet, other than to say it's a legitimate startup building a real product using carefully designed NFTs as a way to raise funds and share value with investors. What a concept, eh? The second bit of good news is the lawyer conversations we've had around this. Now, I can't share everything here either because we're still making sure we've actually got it right. If we do though, it's going to be pretty huge. The essence is we had a really great meeting with a well-established partner at a reputable law firm. And it was the best meeting I've had in a long time. Why? Because I learned something super important that most people in the NFT space might very well be wrong about. Whenever you discover something that a lot of people are wrong about, you should be very excited. What I discovered is that the security angle that everyone in NFTs and even crypto is so scared of may not actually be a problem in most cases. This gets me super excited because if NFTs can be securities, paradoxically it frees us to experiment with the utility angle even more. See, the thing is, a utility-only NFT can work as a funding model. I believe that. But it does feel a little bit like some kind of convoluted gymnastics to imagine value drivers that will believably go up with the business's success. It can be done, but it's hard. If the NFT can also just be plain shares analogs or even improvements on how shares distribute profits, and if that's not an issue legally, well then the utility side of things is freed up and can solve a completely different problem. So what's the interesting problem it can solve? Well, one of the fascinating points I learned in the conversation with this lawyer, who's also an economist, will be familiar to NFT folks. Basically, most of the world's money is not stored up in currency, but in assets which are varying degrees of liquid. And a fun little game that the world financial system is playing is how do we stop everyone from liquidating all their assets at the same time? Because even taking a single hugely profitable company, let's say Apple, which is currently worth $2 trillion, well, if every Apple stockholder liquidated at the same time, the shares would likely be worth about as much as FTX's. This is true also across the whole stock market and even all financial assets. If everyone sold, everything would collapse. This is a problem that the current crop of NFT projects have not solved well at all. In part because the only real reason most of those projects are held is the belief that the number will go up eventually and they can flip for a profit someday. There are no cash flows other than peccadillos like the royalties share that projects like Lazy Lions implemented back in 2021 with a lot of legal contortions. They don't provide actual ownership of anything, just a hope and a prayer that the founders will be generous when the business does well. So the only thing really providing a hard floor on NFT projects so far are hype and utility. Shares do provide economic value. It's economically sound to buy a share for $100 that would provide, say, a $5 dividend every year. This is called yield. That provides a small amount of stickiness, but only as far as the yield goes. The whole game becomes simplified to trying to figure out which asset to hold based on their yield and the risk that comes with that yield, which, let's be clear here, is actually good enough to create this amazing world of capitalism around us. So it's doing all right for a number of people. But that doesn't mean it can't be better. The traditional financial world has tried to solve the stickiness problem mostly through social norms, I think. We've strongly discouraged most people from playing short-term games with shares. And for good reason. Like with NFTs, most of them would get wrecked immediately. So day trading is left as an activity for professionals and gamblers. If you think HODL is a crypto meme, look again at the stock market and pension funds. Most people, most investors, HODL things. But what if an investment instrument could be both? What if it could provide a financial motive that gives a legitimate minimum floor price based on expected cash flows and also be much more sticky than a purely financial instrument by implementing a lot of the fun stuff that NFT projects have been playing with for the last couple of years? That would make it better than the current NFTs because of the financial elements, and better than shares because it would give many more non-financial reasons for someone to hold it. And as we've all seen in the NFT space, those can create some very sticky holders. And as an extra bonus, as the benefits would be mostly related to the business's product, the ideal people to hold this hybrid NFT share would be the business's customers. Most businesses have investors pulling the business in a direction that won't benefit its customers. This effect could be reduced or eliminated with this new type of investment. Shares 2.0, wouldn't that be something? Oh, and by the way, if that's not enough for you, I also have one of my regular videos ready. It's on the topic of founders and what they can do to ensure they succeed on this entrepreneurial path. It'll be coming soon, probably on Monday to please the algorithm. Stay tuned, subscribe, follow me on Twitter and YouTube and wherever, and most importantly join the Discord, linked in the description, to be a part of this. Cheers!